What up, anime fans? I'm back to another video. You in Bleach's past arc. Now, this is interaction between the anchor arc, but it's actually important. It's actually important to the story of the entire arc itself. It's not so. It's pretty short. It's the first ever short arc in Bleach. Because all the other arcs are pretty long. But still, I enjoy this arc, and it's very good knowledge, important to the story. It really drives the plot forward to find out what happened. A lot of things about the past. If I learned about the past of Kisuke Uehara. Like I said, I keep saying, I enjoyed it. And I loved it. It's very useful. And well, it really serves as an actual motivation for the final battle. With the battle against Aizen in the next arc. So for Abdiu, that's gonna be you. Sorry. As I said, this arc is only 6 episodes long. Episodes 206 and 212. 6 episodes. But it's important to know what happened. So, now it says we go back 110 years. To before the first episode. Or any of the flashbacks we've seen. Alright, how does Soeba's age? That's gonna be just starting to bug me now. How does Soeba's age? Did they age what, slowly? How is that possible? I mean, most of the characters do look slightly different. Yeah, as I said, the narrator takes us back 110 years to the past and learn of Kisuke Uehara, of what happened all those years ago. Of course, for the first 3 episodes, or two or three episodes, remember? Yeah, first 3 episodes, we go back to 110 years. Second batch is 9 years later, over 101 years ago. The birthday of Kawakura Bao. This is a very interesting. It's important too. Anyway, the first episode of the arc opens up with Yoruichi vouching for Kisuke Uehara to become captain. Because it turns out he was actually 3rd seat on the Stealth Force. Because Yoruichi was captain of the Stealth Force at the time. So she nominated Kisuke, and we seen do some research. Because remember, Research Journal was created by Kisuke Uehara himself, headed by him. And we even learn a bit of backstory of Kurosuchi. So anyway, we see a lot of characters we actually are familiar with. Like most of the members of the Visors. Yes, Visors, not Visors. My bad. Like Shinji, the guy who the first Visor we actually meet in the start of the Urankai arc. Was actually captain of one of the squads. I can't remember what squad specifically, but you wouldn't believe who his lieutenant was. His lieutenant was Sosuke Aizen. That Aizen. The bastard we know today. And so Hiyori, it was a lieutenant of Squad 12, the same squad that created research and development, and the squad Kurosuchi runs today. By the way, she actually has a different voice in this arc. I don't know the name of her old actress, but you could tell she's house different. She's now being portrayed by Laura Bailey, I think. That's pretty interesting. It's weird. Only difference between her is her height slightly different, and her pigtails still being slightly bigger. So she didn't really trust for most of the time in 110 years, throughout the original timeline, 110 years prior to Ichigo Kurosaki becoming the substitute Soul Reaper. She didn't trust Kisuke. She was close with the previous captain, who was promoted to Squad Zero, the Royal Guard. Who's the Royal Guard? That's interesting. Who the Royal Guard then? I want to know more about Squad Zero. Yeah. And Kosuke was actually a prisoner. There's no detail about that episode you want to watch. But still, it's important to know. Basically, Ohara offered him a deal to become second in command of research and development. So he agrees, and that's how he became captain of Squad 12 when the whole incident happened. This is very useful. I really enjoy this. Very useful information. So, sorry. So, yeah. We also see some other writers as squad captains and lieutenants. Oh, remember the girl with glasses from the rank for the visors? Well, what's it say? Oh yes, she was actually the lieutenant to the guy with the kimono, the guy with the sombrero, the straw hat, or whatever it's called. You know, those old-fashioned Japanese hats, straw hats, you know. It's interesting to know. I mean, Lieutenant Kaya, back then, did not want to be lieutenant because he considered his friendship with the captain. But it was unfair, but he does eventually become lieutenant. We might never know what changed his mind. It's just very useful seeing all types of things that happen. Seeing some things that we know eventually will happen, but seeing the past is very interesting. I'm not sure what this adds nothing to the story, but it actually does. Of course, at this point in time, Renji and Rukia didn't exist. Why? Well, because we see a young Byakuya Kuchiki. Boy, he's so different from what we know him now. The calm, collected, badass type. Who doesn't show any expression. Really, that is. It's actually a bit of a tempered kid. And he's portrayed by Yuri Lowenthal. Good, I think that's pretty cool. Also, we really didn't like Yoriichi back then. She always teased him. Alright, we all now know that Uehara and Yoriichi actually knew each other prior to becoming Soul Reapers. Curious to know how they became met in the first place. It gets me so excited to talk about these things. And see how skilled Yori's definitely the same. So he's kind of a little girl, type of kid. Except she hasn't got that tooth, that snaggle tooth. Because most of the insults I was putting her way for the first part of the arc, snaggle tooth. God, it's been so long. Like the last time we saw them, right, was in the first part of the Arankar arc. Part 1. And that was a while back, for God's sake. Ugh, didn't think this arc would be so freaking long. To give some character histories about that point in time. We skip forward 9 years to the events that led to what we know today. Now we still see characters we're familiar with. Of course, Byakuya only made one appearance about the arc, by the way, and that was 110 years ago timeline. Not 101 years ago. It's pretty interesting. You know what I mean? It's pretty interesting to know. Anyway. So... I mean, when we first meet these Bizards, they sense that they've known each other for a long time, since they said Zoe was who merged got the power of hollows, learned to control the power of a hollow. I thought they chose to do it. You know, betray the Soul Society, but after seeing these characters for the last few episodes, I was wondering, why would they betray the Soul Society? They look like they were good guys. They look like they'll never betray the Soul Society. But we find out what happened. Anyway, this timeline kicks off with an event that happened. Lost survivors have been found have gone missing, with only the clothes left behind. Like they were disintegrated. There's a whole mystery going on. So one of the squads was sent out. The captain and lieutenant are very familiar advisors. 2 of the future advisors. The lieutenant is still as bratty as ever. We know that the lieutenant we know today of the guy with the flowery kimono was actually was a very young Soviet at the time. Well, his lieutenant at the time was kinder and redder, so they had a bond. So I'm curious to see how the reunion is going to be in the finale to the Arankar arc. Oh, I hope it'll be over next time. Anyway, something happened. The spiritual pressures were cut off. So Captain Yamagata sends out a few of the ones that become visors. Also has help on special types of soul reavers that are more experienced in Kido. And one of them is none other than Tessai, the big guy with the big muscular guy with a mustache and glasses. At that point, Uehara actually sent his lieutenant out at the time to help out Squad 9. There's some things that happened before this announcement. And he's worried about her, but he's told not to go to her. Uehara's definitely worried about her though. Really caring for her. Anyway. Now the guy in the flowery kimono was originally said to go, but he started sending his lieutenant, who was watching eavesdropping. I really like these characters' dynamics back then. I think I like how the arc starts to give us focus on these characters in the past, what led to the moment. It's very clever. And turns out Shinji was a very wary of Aizen, didn't trust him, with good reason. Well, little did he know, Aizen already planned for that. So yeah. And when they arrive, they find out that they become like hollows. Their masks and bodies are slightly They were massively hollows and the bodies are slightly different. They do their best. They managed to pin them down with the help of the anyway, Tessa just stayed behind anyway. But yeah, the events that happened with a black, where everything went black, like surroundings are gone and everything, like you're in a void, like something when you can't see. Well, at first I didn't know who could do that. I was thinking, could it be Einstein? But I remember he and Gin don't have that power, but I forgot about the third guy. The blind soul Reaper. He was working for them even back then. He had spiky hair for some reason. Little detail, you know that lieutenant with the markings on his face with number 69? Well, he actually got that from the Squad 9 captain, who had the same number on his chest. I really like that detail, giving us reasons behind some things we know today. I really like that, giving us details. Alright, previous captain. Alright, you know the squad Byakuya is on? The captain of that is. Turns out his grandpa was the previous captain. It's incredible. But did he retire? No. As Uehara points out, you cannot resign as a Soul Reaper. You know when you be out of your position? Like, once you leave your position, you'll be banned forever and put in jail. Who's how shitty the rules are. As you become a Soul Reaper, you can no go back. You must lay down your lives. Or else. And then you do the best to restrain them, but are attacked. Aizen reveals himself. You know, this is all his idea. A mass started coming out from all of them, making them like hollows. Shinji does his best to resist his. And Uehara snuck out. In detail, the guy with the flowery kimono saw Aizen with books going across the room. But, as we might figure out, that's because of Zanpakuto, which casts illusions. So basically, he planned for this. Uehara met Aizen and Tessa, and they both decided to help each other out. Because the reason Uehara went out is because he was worried by Hiyori. Showing much concern. I really love this detail. And he's confronting Aizen. He knows what this is, holification. But I thought one of the characters in the past might possibly be a familiar Soul Reaper. Isshin Kurosaki. Like, he could be part of flashback. Or at least get mentioned. Oh no. It's possible that they could at least mention his name, but like, unless it was before Captain Yamamoto, but that would be impossible. Yeah, Soul Reapers live so long. But live before Captain Yamamoto? That's probably impossible. We might get some more details about when he reveals it to Ichigo in the future. Anyway, Aizen escapes. Uehara and Tessai manage to take the 8 people back to try and reverse the holification. That's when Kisuke reveals that it's a risky move, but he gets up a way to turn them back, using the Hogyoku when Aizen stole in the Soul Society arc. Tries it out. Next day, no, it didn't work. He steps outside. There's a rush hour. He and Tessa are immediately arrested by Central Force 46. I can't remember what that means. Being accused of holification experiments. Obviously, the person accusing was Sosuke Aizen. Like I said, he used the Zanpakuto earlier. That guy was crafty, even back then. And Tessai was arrested for a different reason. For using forbidden keto. Before they'd been tried, they say by Yorichi, if he had to go into hiding now. So they had to lay low until they find a way to take down Aizen. They know they'll probably eventually rise up. So Urahara knew about this from the beginning. That's interesting. So, was Ruki and Ichigo's meeting coincidence that day? Or did he actually set that up? And how did Rukia know about Urahara? That's interesting. I'm curious to know, how did she know about Kisuke Urahara? Unless he came to her after Ichigo to be the hot best hollow. I think that's true. But did Urahara plan this, or he used this to his advantage? Know that Ichigo may one day defeat Aizen. So, I guess most of it he did plan out for eventual battle against Aizen. The Bisons will hide away on Earth until the time is right. And after 110 years, 108, and after 101 years, it's finally time, as we get a small epilogue with them, preparing to fight on for the Battle of Karakura Town. By the way, they're about 1746 was gonna kill all 8 of them, because they're gonna classify them as hollows for holification experiments. That's just cruel. They didn't do this. It's not. When they let them, they're just gonna kill them for something they didn't do. Why? That proves how heartless Central 46 is. And he mentioned that a lot of our captains and Lieutenant soldiers vouched for Aizen, saying they saw him, but that's impossible. And more simply, vouched that Urahara was guilty, but that's impossible. They weren't there. And who would believe just Aizen? So the arc concludes with the Visors ready to fight alongside the soldiers. Most of the captains have changed since then. So only two captains I recognize. So that's the arc ends. Next episode is gonna be. So the next arc is gonna be just a one-off episode, and then a sequel to the Urankar arc. Or just could be a Adventure with Clone. I don't know. Might be a Adventure with Clone. It doesn't explicitly state, because Ichigo never appears in the cellular form throughout the entire preview. So it's most likely Cone. Or it could be Ichigo, I don't know. But that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed my content, please hit the like button. Want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. You'll be up to date always comes in the future. I will see you guys next time for the conclusion to the Urankar arc. I also plan to watch from now till later. So again, see you guys next time. Keep Phoenix out.